please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Well, point taken. We are actually waiting for the markets to open, but meanwhile, there is an MSCI rebalancing that's happening. So while the market settles down, there is an MSCI rebalancing that's happening. So while the market settles down, Nimesh, if you can tell us what are the stocks to watch?
Well, Lata, so the names were announced 15 days back. The changes will be effective from today's close, which is why, we're just rereading as to what the changes would be. In terms of additions, 4 stocks got added: Power Grid, Avenue Supermart, Pidilite and Interglobe. In that, the biggest inflows will come in Power Grid, close to $400 million, in Avenue Supermart, close to $230 million. In terms of deletions, Vakrangi, of course, nobody cares about that stock now. PFC will see an outflow of close to $68 million, IDFC Bank $78 million. The biggest impact will come in Tata Motors ADR, that is 97, close to $100 million. So that's Tata Motor ADR, which will get impacted in today's close. There are some weight changes as well. In that, Container Corp will be the biggest gainer, $17 million. And in terms of outflows, I'll be watching out for Sun Pharma very closely, because in that list, Sun Pharma will see an outflow of close to $100 million in Sun Pharma because of the weight changes. So these are the few changes, but I guess the stock to watch in terms of addition will be Power Grid. In terms of biggest inflows, in terms of weight change, the Sun Pharma would be impacted because of close to $100 million of selling in that stock.
Okay, so negative for Sun Pharma and positive for Power Grid, though of course much of this could have been factored in. We're getting the opening rates and it's almost flat for the rupee at this point in time. It's not reacting very negatively to crude prices just yet, and the stock markets are opening actually fairly well in the green. But let's see how much of this it's able to hold.
The bank is down about 4% in pre-opening. So let's see how that one shapes up because of all the news flow hitting it. Waiting for it to adjust, but that could be one stock to focus on this morning.
Actually, the news wasn't negative. If anything, it would be positive. But anyway, let's see. There could be other reasons.
HDFC Bank is actually opening down 0.8%. The ADR move of 9% for today
is not a factor.
Is not a factor. I mean, it's going to be a factor. Let's see how it moves, because we broke the news yesterday in market hours and right at the open yesterday. And also keep in mind that the ADR will now that the FI window is not there, ADR will go back to having that premium that always used to be there. That what you had yesterday was, if that 6 series window is not here, in that case the ADR automatically goes back
ADR,
to
not
a premium. So that's why let's see. I mean, actually it could be an interesting opening. We'll need to wait for these rates to settle. But for now, ICICI Bank is actually starting 3% lower. Would be interesting if at lower level there's some buying. Let's see how Reliance Communications is opening. If there's any move,
big move, 10% higher.
10% higher. I think that could be your perhaps stock of the morning for sure.
Okay, another stock to look at, Anuj, would be Punj Lloyd. It's actually up 20% in pre-opening. As our colleagues were telling us, the numbers this time look pretty good. I mean, 19% revenue growth. Its EBITDA loss has reduced substantially, but of course it's a 19 rupee stock, so just keep an eye out on that as well. So Punj Lloyd, Relcom, a couple of these NCLT cases, Bhushan Steel, etc., all moving up higher. I guess some of these.
Yeah, I guess today would be a good day to exit Punj Lloyd if you're stuck, frankly, because as we saw with Suzlon as well, some of the times these stocks just
hardly make you any money. I mean, if anything, it eroded the wealth.
1% beverages down, another 10%. Atlanta anyway earlier also had issues with SEBI, so that stock is opening 20% lower. And
resignation of auditors.
Yeah, exactly, resignation of auditors. So Atlanta is down about 20%.
Actually, CRISIL has opened 4% higher. The only news we got from SEBI is that where your rating has been
is opening
rejected.
higher because of the news that Nimesh broke about S&P.
Rebalancing.
Yeah, S&P buying some stake in that block deal yesterday. S&P is the promoter now of CRISIL.
As owner of CRISIL.
Yes. So that's why CRISIL yesterday also actually if you see CRISIL's yesterday chart, it was up quite a bit, and today also it has very limited float. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala also holds some stake in this, and very illiquid stock. So any positive news, of course, impacts the stock. But that's why it's more.
IDBI Bank is opening higher. I mean, I was just expecting that these corporate lenders, some of them to have a positive impact. But this could be just a momentary, rush of blood. May not be something that could last. But the flow of NCLT positive news could have at least a sentimental impact on many of the corporate-facing banks. ONGC is not wilting despite its numbers.
Actually, there's an upgrade on ONGC from CLSA, I think. Because the results are poor, but then again in commodity companies, you're not really looking at backward looking numbers. You're talking about whether the future looks good, and that's why I think there's been a bit of an upgrade. So that could be the reason. Bajaj Finance could be an interesting stock to watch out for today. 1% higher is what we have on Bajaj Finance.
Yeah, in fact, CLSA has hiked the target price on ONGC to 240. They had it at 225 earlier. So, yes, that upgrade has come through. A couple of other stocks. Berger Paints actually reported a good set of numbers this time. So, that stock in pre-opening is also, okay, it had moved up higher. Now it's come off a little bit. And SAIL, Apollo Hospitals, Torrent Pharma are a couple of other stocks that have reported a good number. So, SAIL there up almost about 1.5%. But Prakash, from the other names that we pointed out, anything that you've liked? I mean, we spoke about Berger Paints, but there was, you know, Torrent Pharma, etc., SAIL that looked pretty good. Anything that catches your eye?
Yeah, so I think Torrent definitely, you know, given the fact that some of these domestic names in the pharma space are, you know, getting to be much stronger on both domestic and the US international sales. And you know, I think pharma is again something that will probably surprise us maybe a quarter, 2 quarters down the line, because the consolidation that we're seeing, and today I was surprised to read some very positive reports on Glenmark as well. So some of these names, sleepy names which have been lost out, have made a comeback, and the numbers do kind of give you, you know, that encouraging headwinds expectation, especially from the larger ones. But my pick there continues to be Laurus. I don't know whether I've spoken about this a few days back, but I think we did that on one of the evening shows with Lata. But Laurus is something that I probably believe is due for a re-rating, and then the kind of growth that they have in this space, oncology space, and a lot of donor-driven markets that they are present in Africa. They really don't have much to do with the US, which is a very good you know, thing to be in right now. And the numbers and the activity that I see on the counter tells me that there could be some new you know, highs that this could make.
Okay. Well, Reliance Capital could also be in the green. We need to pull up Reliance Capital. News out that they have sold their 60% stake in Codemasters, a British gaming company. They had bought it for 100 crores, sold it for 1700 crores earlier this month. And maybe that stock will also show a bit of good cheer.
Yeah, now HDFC Bank is opening 4% higher. So it should open higher, but how much higher is the question, and whether it sustains that or not. So 4.5% higher for now, 2140 is what we have on HDFC Bank, and that's carrying the Nifty now. So 72 points higher, of course, is what we have. Jubilant Foodworks is up about 2% right now, 2560. Ashwani, is this a gap to chase on Jubilant, or you spoke about it in the morning, or would you rather wait for a bit of a decline before buying?
It's already declined quite a lot. Yesterday it opened up 2% higher. We chased it. We got some money. I think today, the upside could be a bit more surprising, because yesterday a lot of bulls got trapped. So chances are today people may hesitate, and that may actually be the opportunity.
Okay. Well, now I say that I lost its red and it is in flat terrain, which is right, because that news should not be stock moving. So at the moment it's flat. Let's see how things pan out. Reliance Group stocks, Capital and Arcom and all are doing very well. HDFC Bank back in the green. Jubilant Food at the moment is showing green.
Oh yes, I tell you one thing. The Bank Nifty is opening 260 points higher, but the Bank Nifty future may not open that much higher, because last time also the same issue happened with the HDFC Bank. Okay. Ashwani, if it's 26,600 that open for the spot, of course, and today's expiry, what would be the first trade?
See, it's a messy thing, because this sort of extraordinary moves because of one stock generally don't tend to show follow through. So my sense is that whatever happens at higher levels, some people may book profit, so wherever it's opening, it's likely to come off. But the opportunity is not great, because Bank Nifty already recovered 400 odd points from yesterday's low. So Bank Nifty is best avoided today.
Okay. What is your 9-10 call, Ashwini?
See, I think Kotak is still showing strength, and this is the one that's consistently moving up. So that's a buy with a stop of 1290, target of 1340. But like I keep mentioning, that my style of play is more Jubilant, where chances are there are more short positions.
SAIL, how do you approach that one? I mean, it's up 2.5%. The numbers are good. 2018 was not good for the stock, Ashwini, but you know, between 2016 and 2018, the stock almost doubled. Would you recommend trading it here?
See, metals are kind of lukewarm. They aren't really outperforming. But SAIL is at its 200-day moving average. If somebody must buy it, probably you have a 68, 69 type of stop. And, 100 could be a target. But there are better metal stocks like JSW Steel or Tata Steel where people can enter.
Okay. Actually, we have to get back to Prakash on that promise he made to identify for us some stocks where he saw value. Prakash, you spoke about WPIL and the results impressed you. Any other stocks that you would keep a keen eye out for?
Yeah, so I can't take my eyes off the auto pack. We discussed M&M numbers the other day and look where, how the stock's kind of behaving and how strongly it's delivered. My sense is, the market is giving us ample opportunity, Lata, to dip into companies, into stocks which have temporary setbacks, more sentimental and overreacted. Like, look, for case in point is TVS Motors. We saw TVS Motors, and I remember Anuj pointing this out also at some stage last week when, TVS Motors lost about 70, 80 bucks in just 2 days, post the numbers. And then, look at the sharp recovery. And I think if you stick to the larger ones, so my suggestion is look at Eicher Motors. They're launching, it's just a token significance of sorts, but they're launching the 500cc Pegasus again, the classic model. And if that were to kind of, create a niche for themselves, the stock will see a significant interest coming back, drawn by this trigger, if not necessarily because of this trigger. So, I think opportunities will continue to be there on days when the Nifty and all your mid-cap indices give way. And some of these strong names like Ashok Leyland, TVS Motors, Vartech, Vabag, I have a huge list, but they're all good at a price. So, on the right days, we should probably bring this up.
Oh, I agree with you entirely. I mean, that classic Pegasus is being launched, right? I think there are only 250 units that are being launched, but 2.5 lakhs for this bike. So, well, if anyone's interested, that is. But just 3 more minutes to go before the markets open for the day. Sudarshan, what would you do with any of these metal names? I mean, today is turning out to be, at least in pre-opening, many of these metal names are moving up higher. Anything that you like?
Well, JSW Steel is a stock we can buy, but I'm not very keen on metals. I have a view that's developing on the Nifty. I explained that the Nifty is now in a trading range. If the Nifty maintains itself above 10,650, then a buying opportunity is arising today.
Okay. But for the short term, is it an intraday trade you will have, or is it a positional trade?
It starts as an intraday trade, and if we see follow through, we'll carry it for tomorrow.
Okay. I wanted to ask you also about the finance stocks. In your list, you didn't have any in the morning. You had more consumption stocks, Asian Paints, Hindustan Unilever, Bajaj Auto types. Is there any finance stock, especially HDFC Bank, that you want to play today?
See, HDFC Bank is opening gap up. If you are an investor, this is at lifetime new highs you can buy. But I would not trade it at all as a short-term trader. I would avoid all finance stocks.
Okay. And Mitesh, now, any other stocks that have moved into your radar?
I think amongst the metals, and I think this was just asked to Sudarshan, I think Tata Steel looks interesting to me, as well as on the stock side, I also like ONGC. I think that could be very interesting given the fact that it's coming after news flow. Typically, a gap of opening after news flow does lead to some kind of follow through. Okay.
Your Reliance Capital, of course, is working very well. That's up 3%. Today is quite a Reliance day in terms of Rel Power, Rel Cap, Rel Infra and Arcom all doing well.
Oh yes, in fact, just a minute more to go. A couple of more result reactions actually. KNR Constructions had a good set of numbers, so that stock in pre-opening is moving up higher. Keep an eye out on that. And on the upside, on the downside, I beg your pardon, is V-Guard, where there's a 300 basis points fall in the margins this time around. So V-Guard is not looking good at all. Mitesh, quick thoughts on how to approach M&M after the big move that the stock has already seen?
M&M to me, I think is extremely positive on the medium and longer term charts. So I think, and we had a fresh breakout on the short term charts yesterday. I think I would still be a buyer, keep yesterday's lowest stop loss. And I think this is a stock which possibly over the next few weeks should try to hit the 4-digit mark. So I think there's significant trading upside left over here. and a 25-point kind of stop should work it out.
Okay, well, we have only half a minute for markets to open, but very quickly, Satin Credit Care, Prakash, the numbers looked very good.
Yeah, so, but you know, the stock has fallen off the favored list of sorts for a long time. So it probably only do a little bit of a catch up, Lata. But given that we are entering into an election year and some of these MFIs which are active in areas which will be highly contested, you know, could have certain negative headwinds which might